XRP update since September 1st, 2025. On September 1st, 2025, XRP was trading around $2.75. Fast forward to today, September 21st, and it's trading at approximately $2.98. That's an 8 to 10% increase over 3 weeks. A modest move for crypto, but notable given the market volatility. While price action isn't explosive, it has maintained upward bias, with key events creating upward pressures and just as much resistance from sellers at higher levels. Key events and catalysts? Let's talk about the major events shaping XRP's movement this month. First, XRP was stuck in a tight range around $2.80 early September, with many technical traders eyeing the potential breakdown towards $2.60 if support didn't hold. Then came the big news. On September 18th, the US SEC approved new listing standards for spot crypto ETFs, removing major hurdles for exchanges like NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange to list spot products, XRP included. On the same day, the first US listed XRP ETF, ticker symbol XRPR, launched. This was a huge milestone for XRP, making it easier for institutions and everyday investors to gain exposure without holding the token directly. Also on the horizon, the CME announced plans to launch options on XRP futures by mid-October, expanding the tools traders can use to hedge and speculate on XRP. The macro backdrop also shifted. The Federal Reserve cut interest rates on September 18th, signaling a possible shift toward more easing. That's typically bullish for risk assets, and crypto investors responded positively. These events combined helped push XRP price upward, briefly touching the $3.08 level before pulling back slightly, but more on that shortly. Traders versus investors. There's a clear split in how traders and long-term investors view XRP right now. Spot traders are focused on short-term price moves. They saw the ETF launch and the Fed rate cut as a signal to ride a breakout, and some were successful when XRP surged past the $3 mark. However, once XRP approached the $3.08, resistance kicked in and traders began taking profits. For spot traders, the key questions are, where is the next support? Where is the next ceiling? In contrast, long-term investors, the holders, are taking a different view. They are focusing on structural changes, XRP's legal clarity, ETF legitimacy, institutional involvement, and real-world utility like cross-border payments, tokenized funds, and stablecoin transactions. They see this month as a foundation for something bigger, even if those short-term prices don't reflect that just yet. Investor sentiment? Investor sentiment is as polarized as ever. On one side, frustrated XRP holders are asking the same questions they've asked for years. Why hasn't XRP exploded yet? They're pointing to consistent delays, resistance around $3 mark, and broken promises of XRP reaching $10, $50, or even $100. They feel the hype hasn't delivered, and they're not wrong. XRP has hovered under $3 for a long time now, even while other tokens have seen massive breakouts. But on the other side are optimistic investors. For them, the legal uncertainty is behind us. ETFs are here. Institutions are showing interest. Partnerships are growing. They believe XRP's real use cause is just starting to be recognized. And once the infrastructure adoption catches up, the prices will follow. Why the hype hasn't materialized? So why hasn't XRP reached double or triple digits yet? First, the liquidity needed to support a $10, $50, or $100 price per coin is enormous. XRP has a huge circulating supply, and pushing its market cap into the trillions would require massive capital inflows. Second, regulatory clarity might be improving, but it's still new. ETFs approval don't mean instant adoption. Institutions move slowly, often taking months to allocate meaningful funds. Third, strong resistance level continue to stall breakouts. Every time XRP pushes above $3, there's heavy selling. Fourth, macroeconomic conditions remain uncertain. Yes, the Fed cut rates, but inflation, growth fears, and risk-off sentiment can quickly return. Lastly, hype often overestimates the speed of real-world adoption. XRP is building utility, but adoption takes time. No blockchain project becomes global overnight. Current price battle. Right now, XRP is in a battle zone. It recently touched $3.08 after the ETF launch, but couldn't hold above that. Sellers stepped in and we're back to just under $3. Support lies back at $2.75, and many traders are watching this level closely. If XRP breaks above the $3.10 and holds, it could open a path towards $3.50 or even higher, but only if momentum and volume support it. Meanwhile, long-term investors are less concerned about these minor price moves. Their eyes are on adoption, infrastructure, and broader market cycles. Hypothetical year-end prediction. So what might XRP be worth by December 31st, 2025? If current momentum continues, with more ETFs approved, institutions allocating capital, and macro conditions staying favorable, XRP could reasonably hit somewhere between the $5 and $10 per coin. If growth stalls or macro shocks return, XRP could end the year between $3.50 and $5. And in a more bullish, less likely scenario, if adoption surges and institutional demand explodes, XRP could stretch towards $15 to $20. That's optimistic, but not impossible under perfect conditions. Summary. So, from $2.75 on September 1st to just under $3 today, XRP had a steady but cautious climb. Spot traders are hunting breakouts, long-term holders are watching the ecosystem mature, and the divide between frustration and optimism grows deeper by the week. The hype of triple-digit XRP hasn't played out yet, because these things take time, infrastructure, and real capital to build, but momentum is growing. What do you think? Where will XRP be by December 31st? Drop your prediction in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, like and subscribe for more updates like this one. And as always, thanks for watching Chase Principal. Until next time. Disclaimer: this is general information only and not financial advice. For personal guidance, please talk to a licensed professional.